Is Xi Jinping plotting his escape? Kazakhstan, Russia, or Belarus? Which of these countries is truly ready to roll out the red carpet for him? A quiet escape plan is reportedly being orchestrated, not by just anyone, but by the powerful woman behind Xi. Someone who, by now, may no longer be just the First Lady, but the real Shadow General Secretary. But will fate allow Xi to walk away so easily, after everything he's inflicted upon this nation? I believe you'll be stunned by the revelations that follow. Xi's escape foiled. Collapse unfolds in Xinjiang. Amid the growing political instability in mainland China, with a wave of persistent rumors suggesting that Chinese Communist Party General Secretary Xi Jinping is losing his grip on power and may soon be ousted from the political stage, there are also reports that Xi, facing the weight of his 13-year rule, was planning a secret escape abroad to avoid eventual purging. Central Asia was believed to be the first intended destination. In such a scenario, Xinjiang, strategically located on the doorstep of Central Asia, was seen as the most convenient route for Xi and his family to make a discreet withdrawal. It was within that context that on July 1st, a bombshell rocked Beijing's political circles. Ma Xingui, Xinjiang Party secretary and one of Xi's trusted allies, had been abruptly removed from his position. Born in 1959 in Shandong province, Ma Xingui was considered one of Xi's most loyal lieutenants, having been entrusted with key regions such as Xinjiang, critical for both security and geopolitics, and Guangdong, the economic powerhouse of China. Ma's political rise was closely tied to Peng Liyuan, Xi's wife. Both hailed from Shandong, and their families had long-standing ties. Even before Xi rose to power, Ma was a regular guest at the Xi family home. He had even been considered a top contender to replace Kai Chi as director of the General Office of the CCP. Clearly, his relationship with Xi was anything but ordinary. Ma's downfall is seen as a devastating blow to Xi Jinping. According to political commentator Edward Wenming, the reason was simple. Xi's escape plan via Xinjiang had been exposed. Another analyst, Jianmin Wu, stated on his personal media channel that Ma was removed because he was discovered to be involved in a covert plan to help the great leader Xi flee to Central Asia. Late last year, Peng Liyuan reportedly contacted Ma using an encrypted internal line from Xi's residence. She revealed that there was mounting internal pressure within the party to investigate former Premier Li Qiang's death and force Xi to step down. She admitted Xi's position was becoming increasingly precarious, especially after Zhang Yuxia joined forces with retired senior officials. "I'm calling to see if you can help come up with an escape route for the boss," Peng allegedly said. Ma understood immediately. Peng would later make multiple trips to Xinjiang under the guise of inspections, secretly working with Ma to prepare an escape plan that would take the Xi family across the Xinjiang border into Kazakhstan. Edward Wenming reports that Peng and Ma drafted two possible escape routes, one by land, via the Lianhuo Expressway to the Korgos border crossing, controlled by the local production and construction corps, then across into Kazakhstan. Two, by air, a direct flight from Urumqi to Almaty, the capital of Kazakhstan. Why Kazakhstan? As a former Soviet republic with communist roots, its longtime leader Nursultan Nazarbayev was first secretary of the Communist Party of Kazakhstan during the USSR. Kazakhstan was seen as far less risky than fleeing to a Western country. Moreover, Russia and Belarus could serve as fallback options. This could explain why, during a visit to Kazakhstan on June 16 to 17, Nazarbayev openly declared, "No matter in what capacity Chairman Xi comes to Kazakhstan, we will welcome him." If that's not paving the way, what is? Of course, this is only my personal interpretation. In addition, over the past decade, Xi has quietly used the Belt and Road Initiative to move his family's wealth into Central Asia. His younger brother, Xi Jinping, has long purchased farmland in several Central Asian countries and stashed vast assets there. Should a crisis erupt, Xi Jinping and his wife could flee to the region instantly. But man proposes, heaven disposes. This crucial intelligence reportedly fell into the hands of Kai Chi, once another close Xi ally and current director of the CCP General Office, often dubbed the Chief of Zhongmenhai. According to Edward, Kai was stunned when he learned of the plot. He had believed Xi to be an unshakable mountain of power, but now that mountain was crumbling. Realizing the implications, Kai knew that if he didn't act quickly, he too could be dragged down. To protect himself, Kai secretly reported the entire situation to the real power holders currently operating behind the scenes in Zhongnanhai. The consequence came swiftly. Ma Xingru was abruptly dismissed and replaced by Chen Xiaozhang, a former close aide to Wang Qishan, former vice president, and a longtime ally of former Premier Wen Jiabao. Given the current opaque and volatile nature of Chinese politics, it's difficult to distinguish fact from fiction. However, if even a portion of this information is verified, it would reveal a bitter irony. Xi Jinping, who spent 13 years meticulously climbing to the top of the power pyramid, may now be betrayed by those closest to him. This episode once again exposes the true nature of Chinese politics under CCP rule, where loyalty is disposable and survival depends solely on the principle, you live, I die. Let's go back to 2023, when Xi allegedly ordered Minister of Public Security Wang Xiaohong to orchestrate the assassination of Li Keqiang. Xi coldly said, if Xi lives, Li can't. If Li lives, Xi won't. Handle it. Did he ever imagine he might one day face the same fate? I doubt it. A man blinded by power can never feel secure as long as his rivals are still alive. The only way is to eliminate them. Such ruthless tactics are hardly rare in China's political history. The tragedy, however, lies in the fact that decades of atheist propaganda under CCP rule have eroded people's belief in divinity, in karma, that evil will eventually be punished. Without faith in retribution, many have blindly followed the path of wrongdoing, unaware they are spiraling toward ruin. In that context, the role of Peng Liyuan, as the one secretly surveying escape routes for the Xi family, speaks volumes about her influence and status. And it is because of this that I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you a rather shocking piece of information that many may not yet have heard. Peng Liyuan, the Shadow General Secretary. In the final episode of a special interview series with an insider known as Gary, someone said to have close ties to the top leadership in Zhongnanhai, political commentator Dayu revealed shocking details about the true role of Peng Liyuan, the woman who has always stood behind Xi Jinping. Gary disclosed that Zhang Xiaojun, Xi's most trusted aide and a key figure in the Central Military Commission, visits Xi's private residence every week. Surprisingly, Peng Liyuan is always present at these informal meetings. Not only does she listen in, she actively participates in discussions on high-level decisions. The three of them form a quiet but powerful decision-making circle. According to Dayu, this sheds light on two crucial points. 1. Peng Liyuan has long been involved in political affairs behind the scenes, far from the decorative, political flower vase image the public may have believed. 2. Her political rise was not a recent promotion by Xi Jinping, but rather the result of a long-term plan that she quietly and deliberately executed over many years. Dayu draws comparisons between Peng and historical female power brokers like Empress Dowager Cixi at the end of the Qing dynasty, or Jiang Qing, Mao Zedong's wife. These women all had three things in common: personal power, strong will, and an ambition to dominate state affairs. Peng Liyuan may not yet have fully stepped into that third trait, or perhaps she already has, and the public simply hasn't realized it yet. Gary emphasizes that Peng wields enormous influence over Xi, possibly being the only person he truly listens to. This claim matches earlier commentary from Edward Wenming, who noted that Peng's educational background clearly surpasses Xi's. Known for her famous song, On the Hopeful Fields, Peng graduated from the China Conservatory of Music, holds a legitimate master's degree, and speaks decent English. Xi, on the other hand, has often been mocked as a kindergarten PhD, a title allegedly granted by Tsinghua University thanks to family connections rather than academic achievement. Peng is also highly skilled at building relationships. Early in her career, she was supported by veteran actress Zhao Qing, daughter of Zhao Dan, a close associate of Premier Zhou Enlai. Later, Peng formed ties with Wang Yeping, wife of former CCP leader Jiang Zemin, and frequently performed at the Jiang family's private events. These elite connections indirectly helped Xi Jinping rise quickly through the ranks in Fujian province. According to Gary, by around 2016, Peng began undergoing a political darkening, a transformation into a different person, molded by the power she wielded in the communist regime. Before that, she was seen as someone inclined toward virtue and self-cultivation, practicing qigong and seeking personal growth. But as political power fell into her family's hands, her personality and mindset shifted. Like Xi, Peng became corrupted by power, gradually losing her original self. Things didn't stop there. By March 2024, rumors spread that Peng was on track to enter the Central Military Commission. Photos circulating online showed her in the role of a special commissioner on the Military Cadre Evaluation Committee, inspecting high-level personnel at various military academies. Though officially described as nurturing military talent, her real mission was to evaluate and position loyal generals within the armed forces. If this materialized, it would have two major consequences. 1. Peng would gain authority over military personnel decisions, giving her life and death power over generals, many of whom would be forced to bow in submission. 2. She could quietly form her own faction within the military, gradually building a loyal network to serve her personal power ambitions. Xi Jinping wasn't blind to the risks. On the contrary, this was a calculated transfer of power. He was willing to stake his political life on his wife, because there was no one he trusted more. And if Xi Jinping one day falls, the person who inherits power might not be anyone from the post-60s or 70s generation, nor his children or in-laws, but his wife, Peng Liyuan. From what Gary reveals, Peng is not merely the First Lady, she may very well be the true Shadow General Secretary. However, Dayu notes that times have changed. Both Peng and Xi are now believed to be under full control. Their once frequent joint appearances at major events are now a thing of the past. Their current disappearance from the political spotlight evokes the final days of the Qing dynasty, a once glorious rule brought to ruin by the very people who once held its fate. What are your thoughts on this escape plan and political intrigue? Leave your comments below. And thank you for watching. See you next time.